have to admit that I am a bit impressed by Lemmy's ability to leverage ratchet reality TV into like a real media company. And there's something to be said about that. I mean, like, we can really kind of get something from that, right? My loves, it's your MILAYJARAE girl from around the way. We have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to y'all with a reaction video. I don't really do reactions often, but I want to start getting into it. And girl, I saw the trailer to Jonathan Majors' new movie, and I'm like, initially I was like, girl, here we go, girl. Like, what are we doing? But girl, it's something to be said about this. I mean, like, we have to start off by saying that Jonathan Majors is an undeniable act. He's an undeniable talent. And, you know, I was moved a little bit by the trailer. Now, before I hop into my commentary, I want you guys to like the video. Like the video, because coming on here, you know, did your mom ever take, when you go up into this lady's house, make sure you say hello. This is your way of saying hello to me. I appreciate you so much. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy this type of commentary, because this is what we do around here. So listen, Jonathan Majors, whether you like it or hate it, like, you know, he is somebody who has had a lot of discourse around his choice in women, you know, respectability politics, and, you know, the criminal justice system. Okay, shout out to Law and Order one time. Like, there's been a lot of conversation about him, and I feel like I've talked about him enough on my channel to kind of come with a reaction to this video, to the trailer, because I mean, honestly, girl, I was gagged. I'm not gonna lie. One, he looks good. He's something to look at. I mean, girl, I don't know. That's not what we're here for. That's not what you came for. So let's just hop into the trailer, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. I was calling this movie something else. This movie is called Magazine Dreams. Apparently this movie was shot in 2023, but it was shelved when he got into it with that old white lady Jabari. But anyway, I was wondering, like, why do I keep seeing 2023? He was filming this movie in 2023, but it got shelved because, you know, she had him all up in a criminal justice system. Or not even she did, he did, because we all have choices and we're all adults here. So, girl, let's go.
You have to do something big and important, or nobody will remember you when you're dead.
Side chest. 21 and 7 switch.
I want to be Mr. Olympia one day. I've been training for this every moment of my entire life.
Like my deltoids? Judges always say they're too small.
Now, girl, are we surprised that all of the main love interest is that lady girl? This, at least,
it
this
is
important
important
to his character, who he is, girl.
that you find people
First thing that comes to my mind. And then
that you can make an emotional bond with.
She giving him a little piece of information. She might even, who knows? You gotta watch the film. But she poured into him. He listened after her.
If you're not 100%, you will never be successful.
Nobody knows who you are. Nobody.
Well, you gotta commit all energy and focus to being the greatest bodybuilder on the entire planet. That's what separates one from being a champion, one from not being a champion.
Hey guys, helium managers here. Current eyepiece. No!
The world ain't fair. It ain't supposed to be fair. That's how it works.
Oof.
How are you doing, Killian?
What?
When I close my eyes and dream,
What?
they're gonna put a picture of me on the cover of the magazine. When the entire world will know my name.
That was good. That looked like that's gonna be something. Wow, so one, I love a good film that gives us like a throwback, like early 80s or like late 80s, early 90s kind of vibe. I think Hulu had put out a film or a docuseries that was so good. it wasn't even a docuseries. It was a limited series. Oh yes, it was. Remember, it was called Them, but season 2 was called The Scare, and Luke James played a character called Edmund Gaines, and he was so good in this film. I'm kind of getting like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of vibe from this guy who he's playing. This kind of like, you know, muscle guy, whatever they're called, bodybuilder type, but I'm really kind of getting a really good feel from this, just how it was shot, just from the small images that we saw, the small clips that we saw. You definitely could feel the early 90s, you know, nostalgic kind of vibe. You can kind of feel the manic in Jonathan Majors' performance. And I'm not trying to be funny, but obviously, girl, this is a role that fits him. Messing around with a black woman, really likes the white girl, you know, working out, you know, to an obsessive degree, and you have these dreams. I think movies like this are important because they highlight, you know, what it's like to be a black person and an artist in the creative space or a health space where you're being judged by, you know, European standards, whether you're in a bodybuilder situation or whether you're trying to sing a song or write a poem, girl. They always want to include Europeans, you know, and I'm not even making this up, girl. They asked Toni Morrison how come she didn't write stories about white people. So if you're trying to pursue any creative outlets or expressions or some sort of notoriety as a black person, you will kind of have that. And so you see this black man, you know, really big, Jonathan Majors buff. He's been in the gym. Him and Megan were in the gym, and you know, pictures of white guy, bodybuilder. You know, they say this and they say that. Another key thing that they're going to show in this film is, like, you know, the use of steroids. He was breaking into that pharmacy because he couldn't get his roids. When you see him filming himself and he's frustrated, he can't get into it. He can't get into character. A lot of people don't know this because a lot of people don't use steroids, I would hope. But, you know, there's a such thing as like steroid rage or something. You know, people rage out when they don't have the steroid. You know, it causes brain fog and confusion, and they have the rage, all this stuff, and they don't know what to do with it. And I think it allows an opportunity for us to have real conversations about what it was like to be aspirational in that time frame. And shit, still to this day, girl, because the algorithm ain't fair to people that look like what they look like. That's all I'm gonna say. So it's something that we still deal with, which I think is important to kind of like illustrate. Now let's get into the tea of it all. Like I said earlier, Jonathan Majors is an undeniable act, you know, and I think that, you know, his early conviction of assault against his ex-girlfriend, Nicole Jabari, really made the community as a whole turn our back to him, because it's like, girl, you got caught up, you done lost your Disney contract behind Jabari, and she hunting you down in her Payless. She was like, girl, it was just a lot. But in just the trailer, we are being reminded of what that talent looks like. Now, I think it's interesting that he chose this role and why it was shelved, because he has come out as a certain level. There's been a certain level of rebrand attached to him, right? He has the black girlfriend. He's really demure. We see him dancing at the parties. He's doing all these different things. And so now we can see him and not judge, some of us anyway, because I'm judging. We can see him and view him in this aggressive way, you know, or suppressing his emotion and really feeling like, you know, he was aggressive. This is why he's smiling at the lady in the grocery store with blood in his mouth. We can watch a role of him like this without the association of that white lady, okay? I want to say that, like, maybe he was pandering to like black people for even playing this film, but honestly, he started shooting this movie in 2023 before the whole thing, you know, got down with the girl. So maybe this was just a role that he felt like it could fit, and I feel like it does seem to fit, and I feel like it does work for him, you know. I am interested in watching it. Like, I've watched several documentaries about, you know, early like muscle builders, but bodybuilders, WWE, the whole foundations and the beginnings of that. There's this one documentary on Netflix about a woman and a man who were like avid steroid users. They were going to Tijuana to go get things, and you know, she ended up unaliving him and all these things. Like, there's an interest for me there, and I think that I'm interested in seeing how he's able to kind of come back into the forefront, because he is a talented actor. He is, y'all can say what he wants. He comes on, he dresses like he's still walking around in Lovecraft Country, but he is undeniable. And I know that Disney cut the cord with him so quickly because they didn't want any type of association, but I love a good comeback story. That's what I'll say. And I want to see if he can fully come back from this. And this is going to segue me into Zeus Network, because they done dragged they raggedy asses over there and now have partnered with another media production company to release this film. And so this is one of their most major films. Now, I'm not sure, because they were already filming this movie, if they were outside with Lemmy and a camera crew, or because it was shelved, they had so much done and Lemmy just footed the bill to kind of get it out into theaters come March 21st. But this is very interesting. This is a real shift in Black media, because once you got shut down by Disney, we all thought it was over with. Okay, because he killed his role in Loki. But once we thought it was over with for him, if nobody's dealing with you, you know, much like the girl is over at VH1, once Viacom say you gotta sit down, you gotta sit down. And in comes Lemon Pepper swooping in for an opportunity for Black creators and actors and actresses to have a platform or to have some backing to get back in front of the screen, in front of the audience, in front of, you know, the people who want to see them. And that's important. That's important, right? Because when one door closes and there's not someone else to open it for you, you kind of just stay blackballed, right? And Lemmy has the unique opportunity to take those same blackballed people and open up that Black pocketbook, you know, and get us into a different space. Now, I want to not give him too much because we know he's Asian, right? But I like to be fair, and I can't say that I am completely not impressed. I really am. He was able to leverage Baddies. He was able to leverage One More Chance. He was able to leverage all of these other shows into capital, into funds, into now him really producing or having his name, his company's name associated to a movie that's going to be in the theaters. Zeus Network. Never did I see the day. And it kind of reminds me of, I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want to do too much, but it kind of just reminds me of how things should work in general, in its totality. Like I said, one door closes, another one opens. But if no one's in positions of power to even hold the door open, we just kind of be out here just going with the cancellation of it all, you know? And I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I'm judging him for this and that and the third. But I love Fred Country is a show that I think I'm going to actually sit back and review for the month of February. Just because it was that good, and just because that was the role that I kind of grown to know him in. And he's undeniable. Again, I'm sorry, girl. We gotta say it. He's undeniable, and he's something to look at, girl. They Zeus Network did they big one, leveraging that money to back a real film, and so it's going to usher in a new era, a new wave of media for them to really be in production, to team up with other people and other companies who can possibly put out more films. That's exciting for not only just me and you as, you know, the consumers, but people who are aspiring actors and actresses who feel like Hollywood shuts them out. Come here, baby.
Okay.
You feel better? But not least, I really want to just talk about like how we as Black people used to work in, you know, prior to all of the glitz and glam. Like, this is what bartering looks like, right? I feel like when Jonathan Majors was going through that major scandal, of course he partnered with Jason Lee, and then Jason Lee was then partnered with Zeus Network, and they all connected the dots to come together and, you know, give us that big moment with Zeus Network when Iyanla was getting her feels off on him. Because at the time, you know, Zeus, you know, still Ratchet Reality TV, let's be clear, but it brought more, again, validity to the fact that they were able to get real stars on that network. So I'm curious to know what you think about this film. I'm curious to know what you think about my commentary. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and I will see you in the next video. You want to say peace and love? Say peace and love.
Peace and love.